Every single one of them. And not just the men, but the women. And the children, too.
CRWS, Countering Racism White Supremacy Book Club. Like, share, subscribe, and comment below.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to a counter-racist review of Simon Wells' The Time Machine. And I'm just getting started with how we came about decoding this film. Is that I was reading from Color Monitors, and I'm going to read a section here from the Color Monitors by Dr. Martin Kevorkian. And it says that Simon Wells' The Time Machine is a deeply technophobic narrative faithful in this regard to an important dimension of its 1895 literary ancestor. H.G. Wells had imagined the logical conclusion of the industrial system of today as the evolution of two races, one which feeds upon the flesh of the other. And then I'm going to be reading a little bit more from this text as we go out for our discussion. So basically, this film is based off this book right here you see on the screen, written by Simon Wells' great-grandfather, actually, about a white man who is able to time travel, and he discovers a time in the future, about 800,000 years in the future, where white people have evolved into these creatures known as Morlocks, and they now eat the non-white people who have evolved into victims known as the Eloi. And this is very, very interesting and reflective of how the system of racism, white supremacy actually works, and how it's actually maintained through the consumption of non-white people, through our subjugation in all 9 areas, through our energy must be devoted to supporting the system without our control, essentially. So it's very, very interesting. And this film, for me, I think it's symbolic of a lot of things, especially if we think about the character who was Delano Jones' character, who was a black male existing inside a screen. You know, I think the famous quote with the machine inside the machine, and I felt this black male to be presented to be very effeminate as well. You know, and this is where the system of racism, white supremacy wants to take non-white people, particularly black males and black females. They want to definitely take us away from any sort of correct balance in regards to our sexuality, to say the least. But I'll pause there. I see Mrs. Warrior wants to chime in.
Yeah. So I thought I did while we were watching this, I did a little research. This book was published in 1895 when India was the crown jewel of England's colonies. And 3 years after it was published, England and France signed their agreement to divide Africa. H.G. Wells, the author, is considered the father of science fiction, and his other famous titles are War of the Worlds. This is the second version of, this is the second time a movie has been made of this title. The 1960 version has the Eloi, which are the innocent people that live on the top. That version, the 1960 version, has them being all white and with blonde hair and blue eyes. And not as intelligent. This version has more brown skin Eloi, where the woman, the relationship between the woman and the scientist it gives me a little bit of Avatar or Pocahontas vibe, where you have the white male savior coming to educate. I felt like the black male AI, the AI that was characterized as a black male, was in the version of the future, he is pompous and unhelpful to the scientist, and he doesn't really come across as a much more intelligent AI than the human. Just knowledgeable, but not. I've seen other AIs where the AI was done better. Those, seem to be like really smarter. In the past, the AI comes across as pathetic and, says some really uncharacteristic. It tries to bring in humor, talking about the writings of Martha Stewart, for example. So I felt like I compared that with the brown skin Eloi. The woman has a brother or a son, which she's trying to save, and there's no father figure or strong male character of the age or stature of the scientist that could protect him and the woman. And I just noticed that. So the only adult non-white male is the AI version, and he's pathetic. So, I mean, I read a review on Indie that said that this was a more politically correct version of the title because you had the Eloi being brown skin, but I can see that it's a more sophisticated version, I would say, where you still have elements of white supremacy, the myth of white supremacy, superiority in there, where you have a young black male not able to have a father figure, black female needing to be saved by the white savior. And I thought it was an interesting contrast though. Well, I mean, both of the alpha males, the scientist and the evil warlock, are both white. Yeah. And I think, I think that's all I have to say for now. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm going to agree with y'all's assessment of, Orlando Bloom's character. Let me turn to my notes here. I noticed when he got to 2030, nothing had changed. If y'all catch my meaning, nothing changed. Where's my notes on? Well, with Orlando Bloom's character, it's like you get the point, nothing has changed. You don't go to non-white people to get constructive information. That's what I got from the interaction between Alex and the AI character. You cannot get any constructive information, and he's going about singing a song and trying to entertain him, and Alex is trying to solve a problem. So it continues the theme. Nothing has changed. You can't go to non-white people, Black people for constructive information.
Yeah, it's really, this scene is really, really refined, because in this, we still get to see a bunch of Black people dancing. I mean, it's dancing and singing for white people. And this scene is that refined. We saw how the AI did a little singing, right? But on top of that, the first time we see the Black male, he says, "Welcome to the Vox system. How may I help you? How may I save you?" Something like that. And nothing has changed. And he also refers to himself as a PMC, photonic memory, something. I forget what the C stands for, but that immediately reminded me of a private military company And I'm tying that along with anti-sex tactic going out. I'm not gonna call it a agenda. I'm gonna call it a tactic that's being pushed very heavily, and presenting this AI in a very anti-sex manner. For me at least, black male rolling in his eyes and strutting around, being unhelpful, is not constructive, and it seemed very effeminate, and very much traditional way to depict black males in Area 3 entertainment. And let's hear from Dr. Kevorkian again, because his analysis on this scene is also very, very interesting. He says, he says 800,000 years into the future, the obliging, digitized black man continues to chirp his delicious greeting. Welcome to the Vox system. How may I help you? How may I save you? What can I get you? This profoundly technophobic narrative thus reserve a special exemption for the one digital application deemed forever appropriate. The disembodied and supremely eager to please black man. And this may be some refined racism from Kevorkian, but he should be saying black male, but to each his own. So I'll continue on with my notes if folks are waiting to chime in. So I also compare this scene to how they're how racist men and racist women are really guiding the future that they want to see. This is 2037, around that ballpark. And if you see the image, it's a black male, black person existing in the screen. And if you see the behavior, a lot of us spend a lot of time, existing in the screen, and with technology attached to our phones, attached to our screens. And that's racist man and racist woman, making us in some way, shape, or form this AI here, existing in the screen and not focusing on a race problem. Perhaps I may be totally confused and rambling, but I see Miss Action would like to chime in, so I'll pause my mic.
This is for Miss Helen, her comments. She's not able to speak right now, but there's a correction. I think I have said Orlando Bloom, and when I meant to say Jones, so that's a correction there. And her first one is Orlando Jones's character is a machine inside a machine, but she said that around the same time y'all did. And then the second one is the blonde hair white woman. If you can remember that from the Race Code War book. And I'm waiting to see if she has anything else she's trying to say.
Thank you.
All right, that's it. I think she's probably referring to Emma's character, the blonde-haired white woman. Let's save the white woman. And that's all she has for today. For right now, I mean.
Okay, yeah, and thank you. And did anyone also catch the part where the Vox system says Alexander's character says he's surprised by his presence, and he says, "Oh, I didn't see you there," and then he says, "I seem to have that effect." Did anyone catch that?
Yes, I did. Yeah, he's used to that. As we all are, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. We were definitely used to being ignored by racist men, racist women until they come calling for us, and that's how they train this. That's how the system is designed. If racist men and racist women need us, they will come for us. Other than that, they really don't want anything to do with us, unless it's like consuming our energy, be it time and energy, consuming us, literally delectable Negro, and what this film was getting at, and what I'm gonna get at eventually. Yeah, I asked myself, on my nose, why is a hologram rolling their eyes? Very effeminate. I mentioned that a number of times already. So yeah, I also jotted down no black male fathers in any timelines that he went to that I noticed. Yeah, and what Mr. Warrior said, there was the only strong the only man able to protect or do anything serious, it seems, was Alexander. Also name could be coded to represent Alexander the Great. The white man is a doer, motor of the past, present, and future. This is what this film is echoing. This is what in the system of race and white supremacy means to be a white man and a white woman. You are the motors of the future, and this film is at the same time training non-white people to remain in this tacky situation, just be only helpful to the system of race and white supremacy, which is what we see the Black system is. He just helpful when supporting the system, but other than that, this is film is definitely along that programming, which is, I suspect, all entertainment is, to keep us accustomed to this tacky, trashy, and terroristic interaction arrangement that we have 24/7 with each other, and definitely with white people. Just talking about the Eloi, and also talking about the H.G. Wells book at the same time, because in the book, the Eloi, they were he described the Eloi as they did as one gender and childlike people. That's how he described the Eloi, H.G. Wells, and they kind of behave in the same manner, function in the same manner in the film. But what's important here is one gender, a probably a feminine gender, because that's the easier sex to dominate according to logical sciences. And also childlike, needing someone to take care of, needing to be taken care of by, the system, the people who want to remain in power, racist man and racist woman. And this is, you will see this trope very common throughout sci-fi, and this guy, H.G. Wells, so-called father of science fiction. So this film, very similar to many films that are going to get churned out, Avatar 2, Avatar 1, Pocahontas. It's just us training us to remain accustomed to race and white supremacy, and not to counter it, not to think about solving problems unless we're white. So this is hopefully a good counter war effort, because the scene right here with the Eloi, they all, first, I have a lot to say about how the racist man, racist woman will, this film is exactly how racist man and racist women want their victims forever, totally helpless, knowing that, hey, out there's a giant problem. There's a giant problem out there. And in fact, all of you are having the same nightmare, the same, anxieties. You can decode their dreams, their nightmares, as anxieties, as fears, as traumas involving the race problem. The Morlocks are white people, they're the white people, and the Eloi are the non-white people. They are having the same nightmares, the same dreams about, hey, these people are coming to eat us. We're not gonna do nothing about it. Hey, 2022, it sounds like racist men and racist women are still coming to get us, coming to mistreat us, and some areas of the world, definitely, I suspect, still consuming us. But a number of us are not interested in countering it, or even understanding that, hey, there's a giant problem. And what did the Eloi say in this film? He said, this is our life. This is how it is. Race and white supremacy. They come and get us every now and then we just don't talk about it. And I know that's, do the racist man or racist woman know us that well, or do they know what they have made out of us? Very, very tragic. But I have a number of other things to say about Pop right there. See if folks want to chime in.
Greetings. Yeah, this film is it's coded. It's got a lot of there's so much coming at you at one time. Like watching it again for the second time, I picked up so much more. It's almost like, well, not almost anything. They want to see it where they're used to the flowers, like in the beginning, like Emma goes, you know, about the flowers, the fresh flowers. And then once they get to the future and the Eloi, and she brings up the flowers, it's like they're almost saying that they are going to eventually have to reincarnate into this non-sexual melanated creature to be able to survive in the future. And I don't know, these the way they communicate in these films, especially sci-fi, is really detailed. Yeah, that was
Yeah, let's talk about it. Area 8. Yes, I do see this film details what happens to according to H.G. Wells, this film is science fiction related to, hey, this is what happens when white people are only amongst themselves and only can have sex with themselves. You know, we eventually become unable to exist in the sun. You know, we become these creatures. We have to every now and then, you know, procreate with these non-white people to keep ourselves going. You know, we have, you know, and this is literally what happens in this movie. You know, he meets the last remaining powerful, but one of many, because hold on, let's get to the image actually. What is this? The Uber-Morlock, the Uber racist man say? He says he's one of many. So he meets one of powerful racists in the future, 800,000 years in the future. He meets one of them. Get him on screen. No idea why it's taking so long. All right, here we go. And he's and so he meets them, and hey, this is the result of us not, you know, having sex with non-white people and getting that, you know, that melanated genetic thing that we need. I'm not a scientist. I probably can't describe it correctly, but something is there. Something is there, and this imagery, the Egyptian, the ancient Kemetic, ancient blacks. That's how I'm going to refer to them, the ancient blacks who had the information, who understood time and space and the traversal of two. I suspect this film, H.G. Wells, the reason why they always attach ancient black symbolism to these films and to their so-called science fiction is because they're aware that, hey, these ancient blacks, they're doing some pretty gnarly stuff, you know, astral travel, time travel, a whole bunch of black stuff that we will not be able to do because we do not have melanin. And just for us to even exist, we need these people's genetics in us sometimes. I may be totally incorrect. I may be just a totally insane non-white person, victim of racism, but I think something is up. And also, I also see that imagery being subtly coded. And what is he wearing when he's using this time machine? He's wearing black gloves. He's using gold. The throne is made of gold, diamonds, and he's wearing black gloves. You know, all things, you know, gold from the continent of Africa, so-called, diamonds from the same area, and he's wearing black gloves, all representing blackness, I suspect. you know, representing that, hey, once upon a time, these melanated creatures, ancient blacks, they had definitely insight into what's being depicted in this film, time travel. And I may be in error. Go ahead, Mr. Yawu, if your hand is still up.
Oh, that was the old hand.
Yeah, and if what I'm saying, did that make sense? Is that ringing true to anyone? Or
Yes, yes. Miss Helen has additional comments. White people, aka the white man Alexander, are thinkers. He created a time machine. White people think years ahead. Second point, we don't talk about what happened to the elders, so there are no old Eloi. She says, it reminds me of how some non-white people don't talk about racism.
Yep. Definitely echoing sentiments. When Alexander, oh wow, I randomly turned to the exact note I needed. This is a perversion of every natural law, and he's referring to cannibalism particularly. And this is as part of white culture, like the Bodigo, what they have been documented doing for quite a while. So if this is the perversion of every natural law, then what exactly are we existing within? You know, the system of race and white supremacy is definitely incorrect. And yeah, this scene right here, this is a perversion of every natural law when he's referring to the cannibalism, and he's also referring to how the Morlocks, they control the thoughts of the Eloi and the other lower caste or of their species or whatever. And this is how white people have done it. They definitely, because they control a lot of, if not all of the information on the planet, they have indirectly have been controlling and are controlling many of us thoughts. You know, very, very interesting. This film has a lot jam-packed into it. You know, and I see this racist man here as a powerful racist who is definitely coded as, hey, if we were able to unlock our decalcified pineal gland, our so-called third eye, or so-called serpent's eye of Horus, or whatever it's been called, if we can unlock that, you know, we would be able to do what the blacks were doing, the ancient blacks were doing, you know, telekinesis, telepathy, and this is them, you know, putting that in there. It's very, very interesting, and this also could be speculation. I could just be very confused, but that's what it's getting at. But still, referencing racist man, racist woman, 2022, they are definitely controlling the information and indirectly controlling a lot of our thoughts, speech, and action. For sure, this is why a number of us act white by mistreating one another, name calling, harming one another. This is all white behavior that has been trained to us by a racist man and racist woman. Inescapable result. Oh yeah, and the feature. Why is racist man, racist woman always focused on the feature? And this is because we are dealing with the Urugu, a creature that, you know, must have a constant consumption, constant expansion, it seems, constant growth, it seems. So the feature is for them something that they have to not experience and exist, you know, with, but something they have to go out conquer, go out and control it. Hey, I gotta go out into the future and control it before it happens. Yeah, they think, like Helen said, hundreds of years in advance, yes, but for nefarious purposes, while as non-white people have been taught to think, not that seriously about the future. But this film is a homage to the ancient blacks who were thinking light years ahead, who understood, thinking light years ahead and thinking in the future, probably preparing for the future, probably why they wrote all those things on the wall that said about these creatures who would come and do great harm to them and to us. Perhaps could be all speculation.
I've been trying to find this quote I read like last summer, but this quote that Euclides wrote a long time ago, around the same time as Alexander, after Alexander's conquest and all that. And they were broke, and they had no vision of the future because they were broke. Like, like us. You can't think about 2 days from now if you're starving right now. You got to get food right now. So he says that we were hungry and starving and without a future. And when we found the Egyptian geometry, we were able to fix our problems forever. And this film and other films, especially in the sci-fi genre, your occult genre, this is exactly what it's talking about. And that's why you can control information. If you have an instruction manual, then I can control everybody's TV because I know the code, how to hack it. I know how to program what they're watching. And this is what we're dealing with. Because the info is already out there. It's already been figured out. So they got the info. They use their benefit.
Yeah, another thing we learned a year ago, that they definitely have plagiarized and perverted all the things that they've learned from the ancient blacks. So this Uber-Morlock, Uber-racist said a number of interesting things that definitely reflect what's happening today in 2022. When Alexander is saying, it's like, hey, you're eating these people, like cattle. He's like, yeah, that's their role. Very, very simple, nothing personal. It's just business. That's their role. They are subjects. We are on top. They are on the bottom. That's how we set the system up. That's how we do things here, and that's how things are still happening 2022. White people at the top, non-white people at the bottom, and that's the roles. That's the role we are trained to play every single day. Very interesting. Yeah, this film is some diabolical programming. I wonder what is the more confused victim of racism think when they watch a film like this. Do they think, hey, white people are super cool, they help us, they can help us to have a good future, or whatever that's even supposed to mean. I think this film is more excellent motivation for us to not have sex with white people until we have established a system of justice by guaranteeing no one is allowed to be mistreated and those who need help receive constructive help. Because this film is echoing that, hey, we're gonna still control these non-white people. We're still gonna, because at the end of the movie, Alexander, the main character, he's about to be in charge. He's gonna be teaching this. He's gonna be taking these non-white people into his civilization. It's gonna be. I think they're reading Huckleberry and Finn at the end of the movie. I could be incorrect, but I think they're reading Huckleberry and Finn at the end of the movie, or some other piece of racist propaganda. But yeah, racism and race women are determined to dominate us into the future and into infinity. And this film should motivate us to, if anything, be like Alexander. Be serious about solving the race problem, and not like the Eloi, who are literally trained successfully to run away from the problem. Mr. Silent Warrior, go ahead.
Yeah, you asked what would a more confused victim of racism.
Oh,
Where'd you go?
Oh. Probably technical difficulties. I'm sure he'll pop back in, hopefully. But yeah, to continue my thought, if this film is echoing that, hey, these white people are still gonna take us into the future of dominating us, and still need to have sex with us to not evolve into these cannibalistic monsters, which I suspect a lot of them already are. But anywho, if they still need to have sex with us to help them out to survive, and they still want to dominate us, oh no, that's super incorrect. We need to produce justice, and then we can help them, give them the help they need the most. We'll get them the help that they need to help the most, and we will get the help that we need the most. It seems like they're already worried about their numbers. Being able to, remain classified as white. They will not be allowed to be classified as white anymore, I suspect, but they could keep that genetic information if they want to do so. They could keep, that existence. But we don't need classifications of race anymore in a system of justice. You need to guarantee that no one is being mistreated, and that people who need help receive help. Quite simple. Quite simple. Yeah, let me see. And this scene also reminded me of Lord of the Rings, the Modor scenes. Oh yeah, and the Eloi and the Morlock scene reminds me of this is just like this scene is just a bunch of races enjoying their hunt. The Murlocs are having fun hunting, chasing these non-white people around. Yeah, it looks like, yeah, that's how I decoded this scene as well. A bunch of races go, and also echoing, what's been done a number of times in actual, documented history of white people going into areas where non-white people live, and just decimating them, for fun, for glory, and for material comfort. So that's what the scene could also be decoded as. And Mr. Warrior, please continue.
Yeah, I don't know how much I got before I was cut off by the internet, but basically I was suggesting that it presents a vision of the future for victims of racism where the good white person will save us from the bad white person, and that racism will most likely be ended because, of course, the good white person, the scientist, will eventually defeat the bad white person. I noticed that there were no Black people that looked distinctly African or Africoid, like where black-skinned people. None of them were amongst the Eloi. I thought that was interesting. And yeah, so for a victim of racism, it also encourages them to have sex with white people. That's all I have to say. Like I said, it had this Avatar Pocahontas vibe going. And of course, you see that there's no serious black males. So if you're a confused victim, you might just think that Orlando Jones was being humorous. And that is the role for a black male in the future. I'll mute my line.
Yes, and also I think this is some refined, super refined coded imagery right here, because the black male character is presented in such a tacky and incorrect way, but while at the same time, he also is like the possessor of so-called all knowledge. You know, he's a possessor of all knowledge, you know, in this film. So for me, that is saying something. It's saying that, hey, non-white people, yeah, they definitely are you know, incredible specimens, but we're gonna use all that potential, you know, all that, you know, blackness that they possess in their body and in their minds, that connection to the unconscious collective, the connection to all information that has ever existed. And we're gonna use that potential to support racism and white supremacy. We're gonna have them in a screen rambling off racist propaganda forever. We're not gonna use that potential to solve problems. We're not gonna use that potential to allow Black people to do anything the ancient Blacks were doing. Oh no, not at all. We're gonna keep the present Blacks, the victims of racism. That's myself. People classified as a Black right now. We're gonna keep them very much their potential. We're gonna let them be amazing athletes. We're gonna let them be amazing entertainers, but amazing thinkers, amazing scientists, and we're gonna have to limit that as much as possible. Serious thinkers, especially, that is not something we want. These people who possess so much potential, but we've mastered, you know, having them think that, you know, they should be doing other things with their potential, not thinking. And to stop from rambling, I'll pause my mic there until I want to read out more of my notes.
I just wanted to make an observation, and that is that when he first makes the time travel in this movie, he ends up in the future. First person he sees, before he sees the black male, who we have agreed is like not so strong vision of a black male or of AI. Right before that, you have him meeting this white woman in a black dress who comments on his machine and says that must make a pretty strong cup of coffee. I think those are Wilson references. Those are two Wilson references. Dressed in dark coffee and a white woman in a black dress. And then these two things are happening right before you have put down where you have an example of a black male as somewhat of incompetent, or not as incompetent, not as competent as they should be. But I take your point, 05, that even though he's not portrayed well, he is still the artificial intelligence that has all knowledge. So still in somewhat of a prominent position by title, even if example given is not so impressive to the viewer. But the point I'm making is essentially that I've noticed this a couple of times when white people practice racism, like quite often right before it, you will see some Wilson signal of their feeling of inadequacy. And in this movie, it's the white woman in the black dress commenting to the white man that his time machine must make a good cup of coffee. Because being able to produce something black is the standard. Being able to produce black coffee. So if the white man has something that can produce something black coffee, that's the standard. Oh, that's quite deep. So if by using Wilson's ISIS paper analysis, it kind of makes it's a bit more. It's easier to understand why they had to force Orlando Jones' character to be so inadequate. If they themselves are feeling, if their characters are demonstrating this subconscious inadequacy right before they meet the black male, it's a way to, in their mind, balance things out while they practice, and for that reason they practice racism. I made my line.
Excellent catch, Mr. Warrior. Definitely Wilson moment. And race code war. The compensation is there. Like she's covered in black, compensating for perhaps compensating for her lacking of black skin, while at the same time existing in a system of racism and white supremacy, complimenting this other white man, complimenting her in a manner by saying, hey, you have something that could be this color. It's just super pitiful situation that we are in, that these are the interactions that we have become accustomed to, and that they want us to remain accustomed to. Color coded wars, color coded messages. Yeah, and that's throughout. So at the same time, black is still bad. Black is still the problem. The robber is wearing all black, while at the same time everyone's dressed in black. Just insane, literal insanity is what it means to exist in this system. While they may have dolled it up to be very pristine and pleasant, it's not. Yeah, and this film also shows a future that no non-white person should ever want. A future where white people are on the moon now. They made it to the moon. And that means that race and white supremacy is gone galactic. It's hit the stars. So that's something that we should. Hey, we already got a number of incorrect problems that could all be traced back to race and white supremacy. We should not want, we should not be thinking about going to other planets with these problems on this planet, because race and white supremacy is going to end up on Mars, the moon. They're going to have to still worry about black babies, non-white babies dying in those hospitals on the moon and whatnot. Still going to have to worry about, the areas where non-white people live, dealing with some sort of orbital issues or whatnot. It's just not going to be correct. It's not going to be how it should be if we are now in space, planetary travel with the system of white supremacy still intact. What happened in this film? They blew up the moon was exploded because they thought they did space travel before solving racism. Now they exploded the moon, something like that. So they don't care. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to. They have no problem destroying planets, destroying large areas of the whole world, if it means that they're going to be able to fulfill their need to expand and consume, because that's what the Uber is all about. So, if they have to destroy a couple of planets and large numbers of us to do what they want to do to maintain the system, they will. So we have to be. Why don't we just tell them, hey, if y'all really want to you know, do space travel and go on these potential devastating endeavors, can you just, you know, either produce a system of justice so, you know, we could go about these ideas the correct way, you know, where no one is being mistreated and everyone's getting the help that they need, or just kill all of them, just kill all the Black people, all non-white people, just kill us all, and then, you know, you guys have this planet, and hopefully the creator will plop us into a existence where there's no racism, and things will be how they should have been. Problem solved. There's one other thing, maybe my final note in regards to the Eloi and racist code is being uttered, is being depicted here. The racist is saying, hey, why don't you guys fight back? And then the Eloi says, the ones who fight back are taken first. I'm like, yeah, racist man, racist woman have a tradition of definitely doing something like that, I suspect. But that shouldn't deter a person from defending their existence to not be mistreated, I think. You know, we should all want to counter the system however we can. You know, what does Dr. Patrick Wilson say? It takes everyone from all walks of life, I mean, from all areas of existence to codify it. But it takes all people from all areas of existence to solve this race problem. Or else white people are gonna, particularly the white people who practice racism, you know, because while not all white people are racist, all racists are definitely white. So, you know, suspected racists, I should be saying that more often, but just so we know that I don't think all white people are racist, but I know all racists are white. So the racists, they're gonna keep up, they're gonna keep on the hunt, and they're gonna keep enjoying it. They're gonna keep being their subjects. And a part of being their subject is being, you know, consumed in a number of their rituals. You know, some call these rituals police shootings, some call these rituals Black people gone missing. I suspect it's all related to the system of race and white supremacy, and it's incorrect. To use a precise word is incorrect. I'm going through my notes. Don't talk about the problem that was mentioned, but the Eloi certainly did not talk about the problem, which is horrific, because the problem is so atrocious and abhorrent and horrific, just like racism and white supremacy. Very horrific problem that we should definitely discuss more and correctly. But you know. Yeah, and maybe the final thing I should say is, I don't know if I completed a thought. He calls himself a photonic memory core, PMC, and I said private military company. And I don't know if I attached it, if I completed a thought, but I wanted to say that, you know, the anti-sex tactic could be, you know, it's very much a private military company. It's definitely like, you know, a war effort against non-white people, perhaps that word association and the imagery of the Black male being presented as he is bizarre. And yeah, all in all, nothing is particularly new or profound about this film. Just racists doing what they do best, you know, programming us and rehashing their old stories. You know, this is Running with the Wolves. This is Pocahontas. This is Robinson Crusoe. This is all that stuff all over again. You know, Treasure Island. This is all. This is nothing new. But hopefully, this information can teach a non-white person something about racism and white supremacy, what it is and how it works. Yeah, maybe encourage them to explore some works by Amundsen Wilson, Neely Fuller Jr., Dr. Francis Chris Wilson, Amundsen Wilson. I don't know if I said him already, but definitely Dr. Richard King as well. Folks have any more notes to share, or shall we conclude?
The only other, oh, sorry.
No, please go ahead.
The only other note I have is the earth repairing itself in the absence of people. Because you notice as he traveled through the time machine, they destroyed the earth after the moon was destroyed. It affected the earth, and you notice the earth was repairing itself.
Yeah. Reminds me of what the ancient blacks knew what they were here to do. You know, the ancient blacks, some of them knew they were here to, you know, be stewards of planet Earth, take care of it. And then these people came along who called themselves a number of things. They mostly are known as white but now, or racist. But they came along, and when they came along, planet started to definitely get harmed way more than it was previously to their arrival or their expansion or just their control of the planet, perhaps. But yeah, the planet is definitely and has an existence of its own, and I suspect the planet has its way of getting rid of all of us if the things we keep doing, well, if the things the most powerful races keep doing to the planet keeps harming it, I suspect it has ways of getting rid of all of us, if need be. Hopefully, that'll be way better than, you know, the races getting off the planet or this race problem continuing forever. But anywho, final comment is we see Alexander placing the blame on a lot of other white people, you know, for his lover dying. You know, he tries to blame the jeweler or the poor bastard Decoded as a poor non-white person who took the diamond took the jewel from the earth. But you know, the people most to blame for all problems on planet Earth are people classified as white, racist man, and racist woman. You know, and yeah, white people have mastered the role of playing victims while mastered the role of teaching us that, hey, we are not being victimized, we are not being mistreated. And it says here, you are the inescapable result of your tragedy. You know, white people love, you know, pretending that they've been harmed in some great way. You know, hey, the Russia-Ukraine situation, hey, you are a result of your inescapable tragedy. This is what y'all do. You know, when you all are not, you know, when you are just allowed to do just white power maneuvers, this is what y'all do. You know, white on white, you know, this is just a white conflict. This is nothing new here, you know. So this is saying a lot. But it is April. Do we have a it's the final broadcast of the month, April 30th, 2022. Yeah, sci-fi, they hide a lot in sci-fi. What's the biggest thing to take away from here? Hey, they're taking the non-white people in the direction of continue being very childlike, and all at the same time, we're gonna make sure none of you males are functioning as males should function, and none of you females are functioning as females should function. We're gonna mix that all up. We're gonna make a ton of we're gonna promote a ton of confusion. Yes, you see. All right, we should be here tomorrow with our final study on race code war. Thanks everyone for their participation and their sharing. Oh, Miss B, and the sharing of notes. Miss B, would you like to?
I mentioned this earlier, but I just wanted to say to non-white people who might be listening to this or listen to this in the future, ask yourself why films like this are being made, why the same stories, the same narrative is being said over and over and over again. Time travel, slave pictures, slave movies, the white teacher that comes in and helps the non-white kids, the so-called wayward kids. Ask yourself, with all the millions of books that are, millions of stories that are out there, that are written in books or whatever, white people keep telling this same narrative, and we need to ask ourselves why. We need to start asking ourselves questions so that we could solve the problem, so that we can, get to thinking. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's all for now.
Thank you, Line 22. I agree. Great business meeting. But let me see if I wanted to read any more from. Yeah. Oh wow! All right, so yeah, I'll this is ridiculous. I'll read a little bit. We'll close out with the color monitors a little bit from. So I guess I was right. I guess he is reading Huckleberry Finn at the end of the film. I guess he is reading it. So we're gonna close out with a bit of the words from Dr. Kevorkian from Color Monitors. And thanks for tuning in. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And when I upload this again, please do the same. Do the same. So this is from 73 of Color Monitors, the black face of technology in America. From this rich textbook, The Time Machine leaves us with a carefully chosen moment. The last words we hear repeat come from chapter Memories of the Lost Heroes, The Point and Tom's Secret. Aunt Polly, Mary, and the Harpers threw themselves upon the restored ones. The film thus closes the sentiment triumph of civilization and the restoration of its heroes. Vox pointedly does not read from Huckleberry Finn, wherein we learn, among other off-message developments, the outcome of all of Tom's effort to get Huck domesticated under the influence of one aunt or another. She's going to adopt me and civilize me, and I can't stand it. Moreover, the dead, undisciplined engine of Tom Sawyer serves Vox's rhetorical occasion better than would be the unpunished fugitive slave of Huckleberry Finn. The Time Machine does not trouble the troubled American past of racial injustice. Rather, through the perfectly controlled and controlling the voice of Vox, the story restores the confidence in the future of the American nation and its reconstructed state of empire. So he says Vox does not read from Huckleberry Friend. Oh, he's reading from something similar to it, I suspect. Anywho, thank everyone for their participation. Signing out.
You are alive.
No. I exist.